In a world where information is power, the path to victory is no longer just through primetime TV or front-page headlines. It's through influencers on YouTube, podcasts, and TikTok. A digital-first strategy that reaches millions outside of the traditional news cycle can get you a landslide as Trump got in 2024. Today, we're breaking down how Donald Trump won the presidential election in an unprecedented way by harnessing the full power of influencers across mainstream social media such as YouTube and podcasts, a new phenomenon we have never seen before. Forget the 6 o'clock news that Trump calls fake news, all controlled by big bosses and controlled from a central place. Imagine Trump sitting down with big names like Joe Rogan, Tim Pool, Theo Vaughn, David Patrick, Flagrant Guys, the Nelk Boys, and 4 techie San Franciscan billionaires at All In Podcast. Each of these influencers has a unique style and audience that helped amplify Trump's message and ultimately secure the landslide win to save the free and democratic world from the biggest danger, socialism bordered on woke communism. 1. Joe Rogan Podcast. Let's start with the Joe Rogan Experience. With his laid-back conversational approach, Joe Rogan's podcast allowed Trump for 3 hours to dive deep without the constraints of a timed interview. Joe Rogan kicked off with Trump's rise as a darling of the media prior to his political life and how media support shifted as he went from a super-loved celebrity to a fascist Hitlerian political monster by mainstream media overnight.
Kamala was talking about you and Hitler. They're going to take what you said about Robert E. Lee. Oh, Donald Trump wishes the South won.
That's right. He loves Robert E. Lee.
They love to take things out of context and distort things.
But they don't even have to take them out. They make them up entirely. Okay,
they do that too.
But you know, it's interesting when you mentioned the I was very popular. And,
the conversation flowed naturally, almost like a memoir, as Trump recounted his first run for the presidency, the influence of his show, The Apprentice, and how even NBC executives tried to dissuade him from his political ambitions.
The heads of NBC came over, Paul Telegny, all the top people came over to see me, try and talk me out of it because they wanted to have me extend. The Apprentice was doing well. So it was 14 seasons. It was 12 years.
Rogan's audience got a rare personal glimpse of Trump's motivations, beyond politics, beyond policy. At moments, the discussion felt more like a historical tour as Trump shared the surreal experience of walking into the White House, giving Joe and listeners a personal tour of rooms like the Lincoln bedroom.
It was a very surreal experience, okay?
And what's day one like? You win, you get inaugurated, holy shit, I'm the president.
Yeah, that's what happened. So I'm driving down Pennsylvania Avenue. I just built a building on Pennsylvania, the hotel, the old post office it was. We called it Trump National Hotel. And we sold it to the Waldorf Astoria. And it was a wonderful thing. But I'm driving down, I'm passing the hotel. You've never seen so many motorcycles, police, military. It was a major thing. I got off, really the first time I used Air Force One, landed, and we're coming down, and it was very beautiful. I mean, it was incredible. And I said to the guys, I want to see the Lincoln bedroom. I had never seen the Lincoln bedroom. I'd heard about the Lincoln bedroom. And I was standing with my wife. I said, do you believe it? This is the Lincoln bedroom.
This sense of awe and respect resonated, especially with those who value tradition and historical legacy. The topic then turned more serious, media bias. Trump explained the constant challenges of handling the media as a political figure, which contrasted with his experience as a celebrity. Rogan leaned in, fascinated by the behind-the-scenes dynamics, and even chimed in on the power new media has in reshaping public opinion.
They're killing all their credibility, and it's opening up the credibility to new media. It's opening up the credibility to independent media. All these.
The worst I've ever seen, though. And I've seen the worst. I mean, I've been a part of it. I've seen the worst. Kamala goes on 60 Minutes, gave an answer that a child wouldn't give. It was so bad. And 60 Minutes took the answer out. They took the whole, and they put another answer in.
They edited it deceptively.
Which didn't make sense either, but it was better. They took it wasn't editing. It was fraud.
Many listeners, this was a high point. a nuanced insider's perspective on the media machine. Joe then steered the conversation toward law enforcement, a topic that resonated deeply with both of their audiences. Trump spoke on police morale, the complex dangers of policing, and his views on the defund the police movement, underscoring the need for more support and better training for officers.
Is way up. Because people have lost, look, the morale that the police department has in a lot of these cities where they've done this defund the police bullshit, the morale of these poor cops, it's fucking horrible. Yeah. It's the dumbest idea of all time. But what they've done is they've made these cops feel terrible. They're like good cops. I think cops are just like everybody else. Most of them are great. It's like everybody else. But if you run into one carpenter and he does a shitty job in your house, you say, carpenters fucking suck. But they don't suck. Most of them are great, and that's the key thing with cops. But the point is, like, they did all of these things in this very foolish way, and these cops are suffering the consequences of it. And so subsequently what happens is a lot of crime is unreported. A lot of crime, like, you call the cops, they're too busy, they can't even get to you. Oh, your house got broken into? Sorry. You know, it doesn't even make a report. There's a lot of people that they just give up.
It's so sad what's happened, and I'll tell you what, I go to police funerals, and we went to one in Long Island. I visited the family in Long Island, a very big deal. It's so dangerous. People don't realize. The car, dark windows, pull over. He's a gentleman. Please pull over. Door opens, guy comes out firing. Even if they were allowed to pull out their gun, which they're not, they can't, pull
do
out.
Do it in time. Yeah.
They still wouldn't have time.
It's every cop's worst nightmare.
This was a powerful, empathetic moment that highlighted Trump's alignment with voters concerned about community safety.
A tree that's up, these are all things I learned the hard way, the easy way. But when a tree is up, it sucks water, it's wet. I went to they had a couple of horrible forest fires in California, and I said, you had a lot of trees standing. Yes, they were healthy trees, sir. I said, with this intense heat, you could see they were charred a little bit on the bottom, but they were going to be all right because they're soaking wet because they suck up the water, right? But when they fall, they're like, it's like lighting a match.
Yeah. And
you got to be able to clean. They call it maintain your forest. So I was with the head of Austria. He said,
as they concluded, Trump reflected on the lessons he learned, his goals if re-elected, and his commitment to championing the issues close to his supporters' hearts. This conversation wasn't just an interview, it was an authentic dialogue that broke the mold of traditional campaign messaging. In just one appearance, Trump turned skeptics into believers, connected on a human level, and bypassed legacy media to reach over 70 million global audiences who don't tune into the news every night. This wasn't just another campaign stop, it was a game changer.